The top stories tonight in Y News. The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, actively monitors the situation of Filipinos in the affected areas by the magnitude 7.6 earthquake in Japan. The National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC, is facing calls for its commissioners to inhibit themselves from handling the case involving the TV network SMNI. A lawmaker is standing firm on a reported promise made by the president to prevent the entry of International Criminal Court, or ICC, investigators into the country. And hundreds of prisoners of war were exchanged between Russia and Ukraine through a complex deal mediated by United Arab Emirates. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, January 4, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harleen Delgado. First in the news. The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, is closely monitoring the situation of Filipinos in Western Japan after the devastating earthquake last Monday. The agency has activated its helpline for those overseas Filipino workers and their families affected by the strong earthquake. Nelma Buhok reports.
The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, assured assistance to overseas Filipino workers that were affected by magnitude 7.6 earthquake in central Japan. According to DMW officer in charge Hans Leo Kakdak, they are closely monitoring the 1,194 OFWs in Ishikawa and Toyama prefectures, mostly from construction and manufacturing sectors.
Assure them of our support and assistance. Financial assistance is forthcoming for those who had been adversely affected by the earthquake. Halimbawa, kung nasira o nagiba ang bahay, o kaya ay nahinto ang trabaho, o kaya kailangan ng suporta in terms of food and basic necessities, ito po ay ibibigay natin sa kanila.
According to DMW, they already receiving calls after they set up the quake helpline for OFWs.
We set up the help desk, Japan help desk, since day one, January 1st, since nangyari yung lindol. And we have been receiving calls, although I have to admit, hindi siya ganun karami because ito ay, para sa akin, ay sagisag ito ng episyente at maayos na disaster management efforts ng pamahalaan ng Japan.
The DMW has activated the helpline for OFWs and their relatives in the Philippines. OFWs and their family members seeking assistance or information can call the DMW OWA Japan Help Desk, and they may also call the DMW Migrant Workers Office Osaka hotline numbers. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Uncertainty persists regarding the release date of the 17 seafarers currently held captive by the Houthi group. The Department of Migrant Workers has reported that negotiations regarding the release of the Filipino sailors are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Despite the lack of a definite timeline for their release, the Department of Migrant Workers assures the public that the Filipino captives are in good health and can communicate with their loved ones in the Philippines.
So alam natin na nasa maayos na sitwasyon ngayon ng ating 17 tripulante at nananalig tayo na patuloy ang efforts through the DFA sa kanilang ligtas na pagpapalaya at pagpapauwi. So we have been hand-holding the families, and we know for sure also na merong direct phone calls ang mga seafarers sa mga families to assure them that they are safe and sound on board.
The primary focus of the DMW is on supporting the families and relatives of the captive seafarers in the country, providing them with the necessary assistance during this challenging time. The incident dates back to November 19th when Houthi rebels hijacked the Galaxy leader ship in the Red Sea, subsequently bringing it to Yemen. The vessel, carrying 25 foreign crews from Bulgaria, Mexico, Ukraine, and the Philippines, remains a concern in the ongoing efforts to secure the release of the seafarers.
Tayo sa DMW, inatasan tayo ng ating Pangulo na pangalagaan ang mga pamilya ng 17 seafarers. Kaya, kahapon lamang ay nagkaroon na naman kami ng pagpupulong. Ang gusto ko itawag dito ay hand-holding sessions and quality time that we spend with the families virtually or face-to-face. Para masiguro, we can constantly assure them, masiguro natin na patuloy ang government assistance and protection and support para sa kanila.
The broadcast company Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, has urged the National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC, commissioners to inhibit from handling their case. Dante Amento tells us why.
Legal counsels for the broadcast company Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, argued they would not get fair and square justice on their case from the National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC. Attorney Rolex Suplico revealed on Thursday, January 4, that the NTC is the complainant and its 3 commissioners are the judges of the same case.
May hustisya ba kami dito? Di ba? Parang judge yan na nag-file ng kaso at ang kaso nasa korte niya. May laban ba ka doon?
Hence, instead of filing a responsive pleading to the show cause order issued by NTC last December 19, 2023 for the alleged franchise violations of the TV entity, SMNI asked the NTC commissioner and its 2 deputy commissioners to inhibit from handling their case. It can be handled or transferred to the Department of Justice, or DOJ. If the NTC commissioners would not inhibit, they will be filing a new pleading before a higher court for the NTC's alleged abuse of power.
Ang korte, NTC. Ang complainant, NTC rin. Ayun o, complainant.
We will file the possible pleading, maybe we will file a motion for consideration and go to the higher court for on the ground that there's grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, Attorney Suplico expressed concern during the hearing earlier this morning as it was handled by a hearing officer instead of the NTC commissioners.
Public interest is involved here. Dapat naman ang tatlo, ang commissioner and her 2 deputies, should be the ones sitting as judges, quote-unquote, over our case.
SMNI asked the NTC to give them until January 20, 2024 to file their response on the show cause order issued by NTC last month. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Philippine National Police Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. has directed all police regional offices nationwide to intensify the campaign against cybercrime in 2024. This directive aims to curb the proliferation of cybercriminals in the country, victimizing a growing number of individuals. According to General Acorda, despite the enhanced capabilities of the PNP anti-cybercrime group due to rigorous training and modern equipment, there is still much work to be done.
Still pursuing the same 5 focus agenda, but of course giving emphasis dun sa dun sa mga nakita nating mga changes or mga alarming statistics. Although the 8 crimes yung mga binabantayan natin are bumaba, we note yung significant increase of this cybercrime. So yan, doon tayo mag-adjust, training, and then we will incapacitate yung ating local police stations. We will be training our police officers and the police stations so that they will be able to conduct investigation at their level.
Based on PNP data, they have investigated a staggering 16,000 cases of cybercrime in the first 8 months of 2023. Out of this figure, 19 resulted in search warrants and the seizure of computer data. Additionally, there were 214 cases linked to arrest warrants, with 140 entrapment operations conducted. Furthermore, ongoing investigations involve 24 cases. A total of 397 individuals have been apprehended and over 4,000 victims rescued in connection to human trafficking. In connection to this, Chief PNP also mentioned plans to add 127 more police stations nationwide and incorporate body-worn cameras as part of strengthening their anti-criminality campaign.
And for the news abroad, United Nations experts have urged the United States authorities to stop the scheduled execution of Kenneth Smith in Alabama on January 25, where he is said to be the first person in the world executed by nitrogen gas asphyxiation. Convicted for a 1988 murder for hire, Smith, 58, survived a botched lethal injection attempt in November 2022. The untested nitrogen gas method involving a face mask connected to a nitrogen cylinder is raising concerns about potential cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or even torture, according to 4 UN human rights special rapporteurs. Smith's lawyers argue that the novel execution protocol likely violates the U.S. Constitution's prohibition of cruel and unusual punishments. They contend that any attempt to execute him again is unconstitutional. A federal judge in Alabama is considering Smith's request for a temporary injunction to halt the execution, allowing his lawsuit challenging the new protocol's constitutional to proceed. The UN experts assert that the proposed method may lead to grave suffering and a painful and humiliating death, potentially violating an international treaty to which the U.S. is a party, prohibiting torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading punishments. Most U.S. executions typically use lethal doses of a barbiturate, but some states face challenges in obtaining these drugs due to a European Union law prohibiting pharmaceutical companies from selling execution-use drugs to prisons. Neither Smith's attorneys nor the Alabama Department of Corrections provided comments, while spokespeople for Alabama Governor Kay Ivey and the U.S. State Department did not respond to inquiries about the UN experts' concerns. Nearly 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, hundreds of prisoners of war have been exchanged between the two countries on Wednesday, January 3, 2024. The latest deal was said to be mediated by the United Arab Emirates, who was acknowledged that its strong relations with both countries helped with the negotiations. Mavian Dog will tell us why.
A massive exchange of prisoners between Russia and Ukraine occurred on Wednesday, January 3, 2024, through a complex deal mediated by the United Arab Emirates. Ukraine confirmed that 230 Ukrainian prisoners have returned home, 224 of whom were soldiers and the remaining 6 were civilians. Meanwhile, the Defense Ministry of Russia advised that 248 Russian servicemen have been released by Ukraine. Finalizing the deal, according to the UAE's Foreign Ministry, was made possible due to its strong friendly relations with Moscow and Kyiv. The deal also offers further humanitarian efforts and finding a peaceful solution to the ongoing war. The latest exchange is one of several previous prisoner swaps since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The most recent one prior to this exchange was in August last year. Footages showed most Ukrainian prisoners returning home to be in good health, while the Russians, seen arriving in Belgorod in buses, were happy to be coming home. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky vows to capture more Russians as a way of expanding its exchange fund for more effective swap negotiations. Ukraine's returnees were from different branches of its armed forces, including participants in the almost 3-month defense of the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol before its capture by Russia in May 2022. Russian returnees, on the other hand, will undergo medical checks and treatment, according to its defense ministry. Tatiana Moskalkova, Russia's Commissioner for Human Rights, thanked President Vladimir Putin along with their military and intelligence services for their roles in the prisoner exchange. Mavian Dog, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Amid speculations that investigators of the International Criminal Court have entered the Philippines, a lawmaker is holding on to a supposed promise of the president to bar its entry to the country. This report will tell us why. There is no stopping the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court or ICC in investigating the bloody drug war of the Duterte administration, even if he's not in the country. This was according to Solicitor General Menardo Guevara following the claim of former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque that ICC investigators have already been going in and out of the Philippines. Guevara says the ICC prosecutor can conduct his probe without coming to the Philippines, citing local groups that provide him support and assistance. If the ICC personnel had actually entered the country, Guevara notes that the Bureau of Immigration would have the necessary information. Despite this, the Solicitor General maintains that the state has no legal duty to cooperate with the ICC prosecutor. For his part, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who is one of the subjects of the ICC probe, says he is banking on the supposed promise of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during a dinner at the Malacanang Palace last November that the ICC will be barred from entering the country. But if the ICC investigators are indeed in the country, as authorized by the government, he says he has no other option but to face the music.
I will ask DOJ, why? Why did it happen? Because as of the last conversation namin ng Pangulo, yun nga, I got the impression that his assurance to me is solid as a rock. At bakit ganito, ganon? If indeed yung pagpasok nila ay sanctioned by this government, authorized by this government, kaya nga masasabi ko na laban bawi itong gobyerno na ito kapag gano'n ang mangyari.
However, if the entry is unauthorized, De La Rosa emphasizes that he will refuse to cooperate and will push for the deportation of ICC personnel.
Sobrang encroachment na yan sa ating sovereignty. Hindi sila inauthorize ng gobyerno natin, then andito sila nag-conduct ng investigation, parang na tayong ginagawa ng mga tao na yan. I-report ko pa sila sa gobyerno natin na i-deport ninyo ito for undesirable alien dahil nakikialam dito sa atin. They should do that. They should do that. Otherwise, magiging inutil sila kung di nila alam na somebody's doing something under their nose. Dapat alam nila yun.
Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel, meanwhile, sees nothing wrong with the ICC's presence in the country. However, he notes the importance of ICC's cooperation with the state to be able to conduct an impartial probe.
Then dapat kausapin nilang Commission on Human Rights, di ba? On human rights complaints. So, impossible na hindi sila maramdaman if they are doing an honest to goodness investigation. Dapat maramdaman sila ng gobyerno. So kung walang ganyan, that looks like wala pa sila rito. Although ako personally, I find nothing objectionable kung nandito na sila.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Department of Health, or DOH, have recorded 28 new cases of fireworks-related injuries in the country. Out of these, 26 are attributed to fireworks, while the remaining 2 are confirmed stray bullet injuries. To date, the total number of fireworks-related injuries has reached 585, prompting health authorities to highlight the need for caution and safety during festive celebrations. The majority of these cases, over half, have been reported in the National Capital Region, followed by the Ilocos Region, Calabarzon, and Central Luzon. A significant aspect noted by the health agency is that 96% of these injuries occurred either at home or in the streets, with males actively involved in most incidents. Starting tomorrow, January 5, 2024, hospitals in the National Capital Region are gearing up for the Traslasyon by declaring a Code White alert status, as announced by the Department of Health, or DOH. This alert status is a precautionary measure during national events, holidays, or celebrations that may potentially lead to mass casualty incidents or emergencies. To ensure the safety and well-being of the participants in the upcoming traslasyon, 8 health emergency response teams, each equipped with ambulances, will be strategically deployed along the procession route. These teams stand ready to respond swiftly and provide advanced emergency medical services to the thousands of devotees expected to participate in the event. The teams will be stationed at key points along the route, ensuring a rapid and coordinated response in case of any medical emergencies. In light of the ongoing pandemic, the DOH is reminding the public to wear masks, stay hydrated, refrain from touching figures and statues to mitigate the risk of transmitting communicable diseases, and avoid excessive exposure to heat to prevent heat stroke. Stopping the senior high school program in state universities and colleges or SUCs and local universities and colleges or LUCs may result in students dropping out or transferring to private schools, according to a lawmaker from the Makabayan bloc. However, another legislator believes that the governing boards of SUCs and LUCs have the choice to continue the SHS program if they have alternate funding. Rosalie Conzo will tell us why.
Both Nisana and Laura May are grade 11 students in a private university in Quezon City. They are also beneficiaries of the senior high school voucher program of the Department of Education. According to them, the government assistance is a significant help to continue their education. Therefore, they both sympathize with their fellow 11th graders who are affected by the discontinuation of the senior high school program in state universities and colleges or SUCs and local universities and colleges or LUCs.
Hindi naman po lahat afford yung tuition fee na mataas. Nahihirapan po sila mag-adjust sa mga lugar po or school.
According to ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro, the Commission on Higher Education or CHED and the Department of Education or DepEd should have conducted consultations with stakeholders before discontinuing the SHS program in SUCs and LUCs. This is especially crucial since thousands of students will lose assistance and they may crowd into public schools. There are also teachers whose workloads may be affected by this decision. For Gabriela Women's Party List Representative Arlene Brosas, students may be compelled to enroll in private schools with higher tuition fees or alternatively discontinue their education if the facilities in public schools are severely lacking. Bohol 3rd District Representative Christine Alexi Besas Tutor, a member of the House Committee on Higher and Technical Education, believes that only the subsidy funding for the senior high school program in SUCs and LUCs has been halted. If they can secure funding from other sources, they can continue the program. The Department of Education assures that there are enough public schools to accommodate the thousands of senior high school students affected by the discontinuation of SHS program in SUCs and LUCs. DepEd Undersecretary Michael Powa also mentioned that they have two options: enroll in public schools offering basic education or enroll in private schools and still avail of the voucher program. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
At least 3 senators want to probe the massive power outage being experienced in Panay Island. Senate Committee on Energy Chairman Rafi Tulfo, Senators Sherwin Gatchalian and Ronald De La Rosa have expressed their intent to file the respective resolutions calling for a Senate inquiry into the matter. The lawmakers lament the inconvenience to communities and the tremendous economic losses in the region that were caused by the power supply interruption. They also urge the Department of Energy and the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines to immediately resolve the problem and provide a comprehensive plan to address the massive power blackout. Senate President Juan Miguel Migzubiri also affirmed the upper chamber's readiness to investigate the issue. The Senate plenary session will resume on January 22. A personnel of Coast Guard substation Magdiwang demonstrated swift and effective response, successfully rescuing and restraining an individual who had jumped off a passenger vessel. During a routine pre-departure inspection at MV Virgen de Peñafrancia 11, CG Seaman First Class John Lawrence Lotek observed the individual identified as Mr. Maynard, a 44-year-old resident of Magdiwang, Romblon, jumping off the vessel. In a commendable act of bravery, Lotek promptly leaped off the vessel along with a local police officer to rescue and restrain Mr. Maynard. Investigations later revealed that Mr. Maynard was facing an ongoing case of destructive arson and was scheduled to be transferred to Romblon. In an attempt to escape from his escorts, he jumped into the water. The personnel of CGSS Magdiwang, with assistance from CGSS Kahidiokan, successfully turned over Mr. Maynard to local police officers in Magdiwang. Reports indicate that he is in good physical condition and further security measures will be implemented.
China unveiled images and videos showing the Fujian, the country's most advanced aircraft carrier to date. Ruth Bahe will tell us why.
First appearing to the public in July of 2023, China has released new images and videos showing the features of its next-gen aircraft carriers, the Fujian. Apart from the larger hull compared to its predecessors, the carrier features 3 tracks that uses electromagnetic catapult systems, which will allow more kinds of aircrafts to be launched from the deck. According to the Chinese military, the new launch systems will be more reliable and energy efficient compared to the Shandong or the Liaoning. The Fujian ran tests on the new catapult system last November and is currently doing tests on its moorings. The ship has yet to do its sea trials. This is part of President Xi Jinping's call for combat readiness and advancement in preparation for the People's Liberation Army's 100th anniversary. As of today, the Fujian is the only aircraft carrier equipped with the latest electromagnetic catapult systems. However, new Ford-class carriers are currently being developed for the U.S. Navy, which will also be equipped with the same system. Ruth Bahe, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
2 bombs exploded and killed nearly 100 at a memorial service for Iran's prominent commander Qasem Soleimani, who had been killed in the 2020 U.S. drone strike. Iran's top authority supreme leader vowed revenge for the bloody blast. Paul Gatchalian tells us the details live. Yes, Paul, please go ahead.
Good evening, Joselito. A peaceful memorial service to commemorate Iran's former commander Qasem Soleimani turned into a chaotic, bloody event as 2 blasts killed about 100 people and scores wounded. An Iran authority who refused to provide his name had accused unspecified terrorists of planting 2 explosive devices along the road near the cemetery and had remotely been detonated. Bloodied bodies were scattered around in the area and some 200 people were injured and 95 were killed, making it the deadliest attack in the history of the Islamic Republic. Some Iranian news agencies claim the wounded was much higher as the second bomb was detonated just 20 minutes after the first blast when everyone was hurrying to leave the area. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi called the incident a heinous and inhumane crime, while Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei vowed revenge and declared that this will be dealt with a harsh response. But while authorities are probing the incident and have yet to declare the culprit, Iran's Quds Force top commander Ismail Qani stated that the attacks were carried out by the agents of Zionist regime and the United States. The United States denied the allegation. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby also stated that the U.S. has seen no indication that Israel was behind the blast. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. Good evening.
Addressing a recent spate of misinformation circulating online, the Department of Health has unequivocally stated that there was no new COVID-19 wave in Metro Manila. The agency emphasizes that the current situation reflects continuous low transmission rates and mild presentations of COVID-19 cases, even amidst the holiday season. Gladys Tuabi will tell us why.
In response to a fake claim circulating online regarding a new COVID-19 wave in Metro Manila, the Department of Health has clarified that there is no credible evidence or official announcement from health authorities supporting this information.
There is no COVID surge or no COVID wave or peak, whatever it is called.
The agency emphasizes that they have observed low transmission rates over the holidays, with fewer hospital admissions.
In fact, sa ating datos, yung pinaka-latest na statistics natin, bumaba ng 10% ang average number of new cases of COVID from the most recent week compared to the one before it. So wala talagang basis yung ano niyan. And in fact, our hospitals are reporting that the maximum occupancy for critical and severe cases hindi lumalampas ng 16%.
From December 26, 2023 to January 1, 2024, the Health Department recorded 3,147 new cases. This represents a 10% decrease from the 3,507 cases recorded from December 19 to 25, 2023. Notably, only 40 individuals, equivalent to 1.28%, are reported to be in serious or critical condition. The DOH urges the public to rely only on reputable sources, such as official health organizations, to prevent misinformation and avoid unnecessary panic. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, is gearing up for intensified clearing operations along the route of Traslacion ahead of its scheduled date on January 9. JP Nunez details why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, wants to ensure a smooth flow of the Traslacion procession in Manila on January 9. The MMDA is keen on preventing heavy traffic congestion on adjacent roads near the Traslacion routes. To address this, the MMDA's Special Operations Group Strike Force and the Manila Traffic and Parking Bureau are set to conduct intensified clearing operations along the Mabuhay lanes in Manila.
Simula po ngayong araw, siguro hanggang January 6, we will continuously conduct clearing operation sa buong ruta ng Nazareno. So siguro po simula ngayong 2024, alam na nila na yung pinagpaparadahan nila ay Mabuhay Lane, at anytime naman sabi ng City of Manila, basta Mabuhay Lanes, pwede naming i-operate yan.
Earlier today, the MMDA initiated clearing operations from Palangka Street up to Quiapo. A total of 58 violators were issued violation tickets, incurring a fine of 1,000 pesos each. Additionally, 22 tricycles, e-trikes or tri-bikes, and vehicles left unattended by owners were towed by the MMDA, with fines amounting to 2,000 pesos.
Nagkataon lang po na napagod kami dahil sa ilang araw na kaya natsimpuan lang na dito kami na lang namin nilagay. Sobrang bigla nga po
Na-surprise po kasi galing ako sa eskwela, umuwi lang ako, maliligo lang ako. Hindi ko alam na Medicare pala ngayon. Kasi dito kami nagpaparada, wala kami maparadahan.
Pinakikiusapan natin lagi sila. So ito na naman, makikita mo, ito na naman. So mas maganda, pakita natin sa kanila, seryoso tayo.
As part of their comprehensive plan for Traslacion, the MMDA has announced the deployment of 850 personnel, including those from the Traffic Discipline Office, Road Emergency Group, and street sweepers who will diligently clean up after the procession. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International.
I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God, from the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17. It says, "He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again." And those are the reasons behind the news, January 4, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold, because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Assure them of our support and assistance. Financial assistance is forthcoming for those who have been adversely affected by the earthquake. Halimbawa, kung nasira o nagiba ang bahay, o kaya ay nahinto ang trabaho, o kaya kailangan ng suporta in terms of food and basic necessities, ito po ay ibibigay natin sa kanila.
Ang korte, NTC. Ang complainant, NTC rin. Ayun o, complainant.
We will file the possible pleading, maybe we will file a motion for consideration and go to the higher court for on the ground that there's grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction.
Public interest is involved here. Dapat naman ang tatlo, ang commissioner and her two deputies, should be the ones sitting as judges, quote-unquote, over our case.
I will ask DOJ, why did it happen? Because as of the last conversation namin ng Pangulo, yun nga, I got the impression that his assurance to me is solid as a rock. At bakit ganito, ganon? If indeed yung pagpasok nila ay sanctioned by this government, authorized by this government, kaya nga masasabi ko na laban bawi itong gobyerno na ito kapag gano'n ang mangyari.
Simula po ngayong araw, siguro hanggang January 6, we will continuously conduct clearing operation sa buong ruta ng Nazareno. So siguro po simula ngayong 2024, alam na nila na yung pinagpaparadahan nila ay mabuhay lane, at anytime naman sabi ng City of Manila, basta mabuhay lanes, pwede naming i-operate yan.